because, well, actually, let's see why. It's also kind of practical for the military. What we're going to do in these flower pots we're gonna mix. On the bottom here, you see this gray powder. That's aluminum metal powder. Plain old aluminum, chopped up real fine in the powder. Then we have the red. The red is iron oxide. It's rust. It's just a fine rust powder. So we have iron oxide and aluminum. We're going to shake this up. And we're going to ignite this. Now, this reaction will form, so okay, remember, we're starting with iron oxide and aluminum. Iron oxide and aluminum. We are going to form aluminum oxide and iron. Okay, so the oxygen basically switches metals. It goes from the iron to the aluminum. In the process, it releases a lot of energy. It releases enough energy to melt the iron.
Yes.
It releases enough energy that when we form the iron will be a liquid. So if you're welding and you need to attach two pieces of iron and you just need a quick way to stick them together, well, have some molten iron drip on it, and that'll stick them together. The military uses this in grenades, not to blow something up, but if in an emergency you need a quick way to destroy a computer, put a thermite grenade on the computer, you pull the pin, the reaction occurs, iron drips down the bottom, molten iron through the bottom, or dripping through a computer will destroy hard drive. Now, what we're going to see is, first I'm going to pour this in. Good? Okay, so we pour this in. Now, a lot of chemical reactions require energy just to get started. It's like to get a big, heavy object moving, you've got to push harder just to get it started than you need to keep it rolling. Chemical reactions are kind of the same way. So actually, we need to have a pretty good ignition source. The ignition source we're going to use is magnesium wire. Now, magnesium wire burns with a brilliant white light. It's what's used in fireworks to get a very bright white firework. When I ignite this, you'll see it. You don't want to stare at it. Okay, it's really not. It's bright enough that it's not safe to stare at it. But regardless, you'll see it. Magnesium generates, when it burns, it forms magnesium oxide. It generates enough energy to ignite the thermite. What you will see is the brilliant white light from the magnesium ribbon. That's the fuse. It burns down, and a moment later it will ignite the thermite. There might be a few sparks coming out the top, but that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is the red liquid, which is the molten iron that will flow through the bottom hole of the flower pot into the bucket. Now, when that happens, the iron quickly cools, but it's still hot. So once it cools, or once it forms in here, you're welcome to come up. But don't touch anything here because it's all going to be very hot. Okay? So I just want to give you that warning. All right. So. We're having problems here. Hard part apparently is getting the propane torch. Now, here. Okay, so here we go. Let me make sure everything is lined up. All right, good. Here we go. There you go. A little bit of wind there. That was unexpected. Okay.